You know the feeling, right? You're on the range, you hit a 7-iron, and it is absolutely perfect. The sound, the feel, everything. You think to yourself, yes, I finally figured it out. And then, literally the very next swing is a weak slice or a duck hook into the trees. How does that happen? Well, I'm here to tell you it is not bad luck. It is a single, specific breakdown in your swing.
And believe it or not, there's a huge promise hiding inside all that frustration. A single biomechanical flaw is the real root cause of almost all of that wild inconsistency. If you can get this one thing right, your entire game is about to change.
So what is it? Well, this move is called early extension, and it is the silent killer of a repeatable golf swing. It affects something like 90% of all amateur golfers. It's the reason your good shots feel like a total fluke, and your bad shots feel, well, pretty much inevitable.
Okay, so let's really dive into this. To fix a problem, you have to understand it, right? We need to define it with absolute clarity. And it all starts with the posture you create at address, and an idea that we're going to call the tush line.
So here it is, plain and simple. In a good swing, your glutes stay back on an imaginary line from where you started. But in a swing with early extension, your hips, they thrust forward toward the golf ball. And to keep your balance when that happens, your chest has no choice but to stand up, which completely destroys your posture and kills all the space your arms need to swing.
Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On the left, you've got the pro. They look compressed, athletic, their chest is covering the ball. Now look at the amateur on the right. See how their hips have thrust forward? Some coaches call this the goat hump. They're standing almost straight up, and from there they have no choice but to just flip their hands at the ball to even make contact.
So why is this one little move so incredibly destructive? It's because early extension forces you to rely on perfect, last-millisecond timing instead of good, repeatable geometry. It sets off this whole chain reaction of compensations that are just impossible to control consistently.
And the first, and honestly the most frustrating result of this chain reaction is the dreaded two-way miss. Because your hips move in toward the ball, your arms get trapped or stuck behind your body, and from that one single bad position, two completely opposite misses are now both in play.
So let's break down what happens when you're stuck. If your hands are late and don't flip in time, the club face is wide open. That's your weak block out to the right. But your body is smart. It senses that, and sometimes you panic and overcorrect with a huge flip of the hands, and there's your snap hook to the left. Standing over a shot knowing both of those are possible, that's what creates paralyzing fear on the tee box.
Oh, but it doesn't stop there. By standing up out of your posture, you're totally disengaging your powerful core and your glutes. You're trading big muscle rotation for a weak little flip with your hands. This also raises the bottom of your swing arc, which forces you to either cast the club early to hit the ground, that's a fat shot, or you catch the ball in the upswing and hit it thin. Sound familiar?
So here's the big question. If this move is so damaging, why do almost all of us do it? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating, and it's not really about your golf swing at all. The reason lies deep inside our brain's basic survival instincts. I mean, really think about it. This is the central question we have to ask. Why on earth would our bodies naturally choose the one move that completely prevents a consistent golf swing? It makes no sense. Or does it? There's actually a very logical, even if it's counterintuitive, reason for it.
And here it is, the big reveal. Early extension is not just a bad habit. It's a protective instinct. Your brain is not trying to ruin your scorecard. It's actively and desperately trying to keep you from getting hurt.
Think about it from your brain's perspective. It sees you swinging a heavy metal club toward the hard ground at 80, maybe 90 miles an hour. Its only goal is to avoid a painful impact, so it screams, "Pull up," which forces your hips forward and your chest up to get that club away from the scary ground. You combine that with a mistaken idea that thrusting your hips equals power, or maybe some physical limitations like tight hips, and this flawed instinct becomes almost impossible to beat without retraining. Okay, that is enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution, because there is one. We can absolutely fix this, but it means we have to retrain both our physical movement and our brain's protective instincts. So here's the action plan. Before we do any drills, we need a new mental image. I want you to forget about hitting the ball for a second and just focus on your rotation. In a bad swing, with early extension, your belt buckle or the zipper on your pants points at the ball at impact. In a good swing, your zipper points out toward the target. Just that one simple thought forces your hips to clear back and away instead of thrusting forward.
All right, this is the gold standard drill, and the best part is you can do it at home without even hitting a ball. Just stand with your back to a wall, get into your golf posture, and the goal is simple. You have to keep your glutes in contact with that wall for the entire swing. I'm telling you, you will feel a massive stretch, and it'll feel like your chest is staying down forever. That feeling, that's the correct feeling.
Now, for when you're at the driving range, try this. Place a chair or even your golf bag so it's just touching your backside at address. Now, hit some shots with one single goal. Maintain that contact. But I'm going to warn you, it's going to feel really weird at first. You might feel like you're going to fall over backwards. Just trust the process. What you're doing is recalibrating your body's entire sense of balance.
Now, a quick heads up, that's actually really good news. When you first start learning to keep your hips back, you might hit a few shanks. Please do not panic. This is a classic sign of what's called the J-curve of learning. Hitting a shank means you actually succeeded. You stayed in your posture and created all that space for your arms, you just haven't retrained your hand path to use it yet. It is a fantastic sign of progress.
So, let's just recap the whole thing. The flaw is early extension, your hips moving toward the ball. The cause? It's your brain's fear of the ground. The result is pretty much every inconsistent shot you hate hitting. The fix is to rotate while keeping your glutes back on that tush line, and the number one way to train that feeling is the good old wall drill.
You see, the journey to fixing this is all about trust. It's about trusting that if you rotate correctly and you stay in your posture, you won't smash the club into the ground. You'll do what you've always wanted to do. You'll compress the golf ball. So the only question left is, are you ready to stop fearing the ground and finally start